I'm going to tell you about a man named Dave Mustaine. Dave was born in 1961 in a small town in California. As a teenager, he developed a passion for guitar and learning how to play his favorite songs. And when he was 14 years old, he formed a band with some friends from school. One day, Dave saw an ad in a local newspaper looking for guitarists for an up-and-coming band called Metallica. So he went to the audition and was immediately hired. At first, everything was great. Dave loved playing with the guys in Metallica. He got along with them well. They shared the same passion for music, and they all wanted to make it big. But soon, Dave began to feel that something wasn't right. He was constantly fighting with the lead singer, and he felt like he wasn't being appreciated by the other members. Things came to a head in 1983 when Dave was fired from Metallica. Apparently, he showed up to a show drunk, and the band had enough. They told him to get out and didn't even offer him another chance. Dave was devastated. He couldn't believe that his dream of making it big in music was over. To add insult to injury, they drove him to the bus station and left him there without any money or food. But instead of feeling sorry for himself, Dave decided to use his anger and pain to fuel his ambition. He was determined to prove to Metallica that they made a mistake by firing him. He wanted to show them that he could make it on his own. Dave started writing songs and practicing guitar every day. He met up with some old friends from high school who were also musicians, and they started jamming together. In no time at all, they had written some great songs and had a sound that was unlike anything else out there. They called themselves Megadeth, and soon they were playing shows all over the Bay Area. As the years passed, Megadeth became more and more popular. They released several albums, each one better than the last. And in 1986, they signed with Capitol Records. With their new record deal, Megadeth was able to tour all over the United States and Europe. They played to sold-out crowds, and their albums hit the charts. Dave had finally achieved his dream of making it big in music, but he never forgot what Metallica did to him. He carried the pain of being betrayed and rejected for most of his life. There's a saying that goes, "Success is the best revenge," and in Dave's case, it was absolutely true. He proved to Metallica and the entire world that he didn't need them in order to be successful. But the funny thing is that even after all that success, Dave still felt like he was living in Metallica's shadow. You see, while Megadeth was doing well, Metallica was blowing up. They had become one of the biggest bands in the world, and Dave couldn't help but compare himself to them. He knew that he had accomplished something great, but he couldn't shake the feeling that he had fallen short. He thought to himself, if only I hadn't been fired from Metallica, maybe we could have been even more successful. The truth is that Dave had every right to feel that way. He had put his heart and soul into Metallica and had helped them to become what they were. But sometimes things just don't work out the way you want them to, and there's nothing you can do about it. In the end, Dave should have known better than to compare himself to Metallica. They were simply on a different level. Dave's band Megadeth was considered one of the four horsemen of thrash, along with Slayer, Anthrax, and of course, Metallica. That's quite an accomplishment and something that most musicians would be proud of. But Dave was never satisfied with being second best. He always wanted to be no one, and that's understandable. Who doesn't want to be no one? But here's the thing. Sometimes being no one isn't really possible. There's always going to be someone else who is more successful than you are. For example, There will always be a richer person than you are, a smarter person than you are, and a better-looking person than you are. If you focus on those things, then you're going to be miserable. The key is to focus on your own success and not compare yourself to others. After all, success is relative. What matters most is how you feel about yourself. If you're happy with who you are and what you've accomplished, then that's all that matters. Dave should have learned that lesson earlier. It would have saved him a lot of heartache and misery. He could have enjoyed his success and the adulation of his fans instead of constantly comparing himself to Metallica. We all face rejection and setbacks in life. Sometimes it can feel like the world is against us. But we have a choice in how we respond to those situations. We can either let them defeat us, or we can use them as fuel to make us stronger. Dave chose to use his pain and anger to fuel his ambition, and it paid off in a big way. He turned a negative experience into a positive one and created something great out of it. Here's the takeaway for today's audience. Don't dwell on the past. You can't change it. Accept it and move on. Focus on your goals and dreams and don't compare yourself to others. It's easy to get caught up in the rat race of trying to be the best, but it's not worth it if it's making you unhappy. As Dave has shown us, it's possible to achieve great success even if you've been rejected or beaten. In fact, it may even make you more successful because it gives you something to prove. I hope you enjoyed the story of Dave Mustaine, and I hope you can take away from it and apply it to your own life. Now it's time for me to ask you a question. What metrics do you use to define your success or failure? Do you compare your success to that of others? You should give that a deep and sincere thought. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this.